I am Heidi Benjaminson, your host of Confidence Coaching, a podcast for mothers of teenagers who want to be a calm lighthouse for their family. Life isn't a spectator sport. Success comes to those who show up every day with a pocket full of courage, grit, and a little sparkle. I'm glad you're here. Hello. Welcome to episode 126, Taking the Initiative with Confidence. Welcome, friends, family, new and long-term listeners. Can I ask a favor that you leave a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts? It helps with the visibility of my podcast and it helps us create more confidence here in the world. Okay, I just got back from a weekend in Maryland speaking at and thoroughly enjoying a women's conference called the Possibility Conference. There is a unique and powerful energy when women gather and want to support each other and grow. Stay tuned. I think the plan is to have that be an annual conference. Okay, today I want to talk about the confidence we need to take the initiative in different situations, why we fear it, what the fears really are, and then effective phrases to use in situations. If you're like me, often you just need the words to say and then also have a pre-planned way to respond if our requests are accepted or declined. The examples are more in personal relationships rather than work settings, but the same principles apply. When we take the initiative in any setting, we act. We don't wait to react to others. We lead. We extend the hand first, sending the first email to get the ball rolling. We smile first. We see and read a situation and know how we can make it better and take action. Before I get into this, I want to say I actually got really intrigued by the confidence of taking the initiative and the effect it has on people from my daughter, Abby. Several years ago, I was asked to give a lesson in church to the teenage girls. And in the lesson, I talked about ways that we are inclusive. I thought back to how quickly my daughter makes friends in any situation and how she's just been that way her whole life. She's very inclusive. When she was young and I was carting beach bags and towels out of the car each summer, she'd run into the pool or to the beach ahead of me. And by the time I got there, she'd quickly run back to me and say, "Mom, I made a friend." It's been a good characteristic for her as she has two older brothers who are very close in age, and she's the only girl with a 3-year gap. I rewound in my head exactly what she does in situations that make friends, and one thing is consistent in every single situation. She is willing to take the initiative, the first step to say hi, to ask someone if she can join them. She volunteers before others do. She will talk to people of all ages. She isn't intimidated, and so on. She also doesn't love rejection, but she seems to realize it isn't about her, and she keeps on asking. The result of that is that while she would like to go places with friends, she also knows that she can go into uncomfortable situations and get herself comfortable pretty quickly. Learning to take the initiative when we want what's on the other side of the discomfort of putting ourselves out there, of being vulnerable, is a very valuable skill. It requires practice, and I promise the more you do it, the easier it becomes. We start getting more of what we want, and we model this confidence to our children. They are watching. We're giving them the tools so they know how to advocate for their needs, emotional or anything. So, why is taking the initiative scary? Because when we take the first step, we're putting ourselves into a vulnerable position. And our lower insecure stay alive and avoid rejection brain wants us to avoid anything vulnerable. Our lower brain thinks rejection is the equivalent of death. So it makes us scared of it. And I'll be the first to say, and I know my daughter would agree, rejection doesn't feel good. It's just a feeling though, and being willing to feel it is the currency we pay to be people who will confidently take the initiative. And as you'll see in the examples that follow, it's not just confidence. We make more friends. We mend relationships. We stand up for our needs. And all of this reinforces to ourselves that we are valuable and enough. Taking the initiative is the foundation for deep connection that we all emotionally need. It's also scary to take the initiative because our lower brain is so worried on default about what people will think of us. If we let our brain run on default, it says rejection is going to mean there's something wrong with us. And in reality, rejection is more about the opinion of the person we ask than it is about us. We have to remind our brain this so that we keep showing up and keep being willing to step back into vulnerability when we want what's on the other side. Last summer, we returned from being away for several weeks, and my daughter started texting friends to go to the mall or hang out. Of course, it was also the prime weeks that other people were away. She rattled off to me all the people she had asked to go to the mall. She reported back to me that over the last 24, 48 hours, at least 12 people had said they couldn't go with her. She hated hearing no, but she started making it a game and kept reaching out to people. I reminded her that people are also on vacation. Them saying no wasn't about her or about going to the mall. It was about that person being out of town or at camp. She pushed forward and kept asking until she found someone she could hang out with. She also didn't want to sit back and wait for people to ask her. She just kept leaning into the vulnerability. So quite simply, it's a very normal and human desire to avoid rejection. There's nothing wrong with you and nothing weak if rejection bothers you. We just want to make sure this fear isn't driving our actions or lack of action. It's an emotion we want in the backseat, and we want confidence driving. So how do we do that? Well, it's easy to say, you do what my daughter does. Do what other confident people do. Be willing to invite people to do things. Be willing to make the first move, send the first text, email, call. And if that advice works, then do it. Often, though, we need more tools. Our lower brain is worried about what we're losing and about rejection. I like to ask, what will I gain by taking the initiative? What will I gain by being willing to be uncomfortable? I'm really grateful that several years ago, my friend Bonnie took the initiative at the gym to ask a bunch of us to meet for lunch. Several of us took the same classes at the gym, and we had time before the class started to get to know each other, talk about our kids, swap stories about our kids at the same schools, and so on. It's actually amazing what you can learn from just short 10-minute interactions that you consistently have over a few years. A bunch of us realized that we had a lot in common, and I'm pretty sure it was Bonnie who then said, "Hey, we should all meet up for lunch or dinner one day." Several of us said, "Of course, we'd love to." We exchanged numbers, and somehow, with our busy schedules, we got a dinner on the calendar, which led to more, which led to Zoom exercise hours when quarantine started, which led to girls' nights in Boston and dinners with husbands who enjoy each other's company, and so on, because one person took the initiative. Some people will reject us, not return our texts, never return the invitation, whatever it is. Yet, it's still worth it to take the initiative in friendships with those we do want to spend time with, because the benefits, when it does work, far outweigh the momentary pangs of rejection. This year, 3 of the 4 of us from this gym group are huge emotional supports to each other as we get ready to send kids off to college. Taking the initiative years ago planted seeds of strong emotional support that we've needed this year and will continue to need. Do you want to get to know more people in your neighborhood? Do you think there are some women you have something in common with or want to know better? Be the one to invite people to sit and chat outside on a nice day or on your porch, or meet at Starbucks one afternoon. Make it easy. Have everyone bring their own Diet Coke or drink. I promise you that most people really appreciate the invitation. When people say no, remind yourself that the no isn't about you. It's about that person's time, their schedule, maybe their social anxiety, and such. Okay, do you need to speak up and ask for a refund or take the initiative to correct an error? This takes courage and confidence to do this. Many people would rather lose money than sit with their own discomfort and the possible discomfort of others to ask what they want. 2 weeks ago, I had mistakenly signed my son up for some classes that were clearly marked non-refundable online. It was several $100s and I wanted the money back. When we realized that it was a mistake, I called the organization and very politely explained the situation, recognizing and admitting I know the classes are non-refundable, and I asked if there was anything they could do. I got them on my side. And guess what? By making that one phone call, I got all the money back. It just took me being willing to ask and being willing for them to say no. Now that COVID restrictions are lifting quite quickly and we're socializing again, it's good to prepare how to introduce ourselves to others. Insecurity walks into a room and waits for others to approach them. Confidence walks into a room and will be the first to extend their hand, introduce themselves. Practice looking someone in the eye, smiling and saying your name. Have a question prepared to ask that person. How do they know the host? Ask a question about that person. People like to talk about themselves. Pay attention to confident people. They will do this. Watch how a confident person stands, shoulders back, smiling, looking at people directly. Then practice doing it yourself. Visualize yourself going up to other women with these prepared phrases. Some people may not reciprocate. Don't be offended. Be kind, be warm. Then greet another person and introduce the two that you just met. Be the first one to be kind. Don't wait for others to make the first move. Kindness and confidence attract kindness and confidence. If you do this, you'll attract more of your vibe into your life. I had an experience one time driving another woman well over an hour, and she asked me absolutely nothing about myself. I kept drawing from a well of questions to ask her. It did get a little tiring, but I kept at it. I found it odd, but it is what it is. I didn't make it mean anything about me, but I didn't seek her out for other interactions. It's okay. I'm always glad when I can be warm and approach others. I stay unattached to how they'll respond. Confidence in this situation is just being able to keep on going. Okay, what about taking the initiative to apologize or discuss an uncomfortable topic? It is vulnerable, and it takes confidence to say, I want to apologize for what I said the other day. I didn't mean it the way it came out. I was insensitive. Whatever you need to say. Stay in your lane. Say what you feel bad about and start all sentences with I feel this way. I apologize for this. I am sorry for this. When hurt feelings aren't discussed and no one takes the initiative to openly discuss and communicate, hurt grows. It festers. It becomes toxic. Literally, you can save your emotional state and repair relationships by initiating a conversation and talking through what could have been a misunderstanding. Several years ago, I was made aware of a misunderstanding and hurt a friend had over something that they thought I had done and said. I could actually see how they misunderstood, and I wanted to clear it up. I knew that if I didn't bring it up, it would become an underlying issue and create a lot of distance. I practiced what I would say. I practiced owning any part of the wrong. I also practiced being open and loving. I didn't insist on the friend even needing to agree or understand. I was breaking a cycle of communication, or rather, a cycle of miscommunication, and I knew it was uncomfortable at first for this other person. But what followed was her profusely thanking me for calling, and it allowed her to apologize for her reaction. She said over and over, "Thank you for calling. I didn't know how to bring it up and apologize for my misinterpretation and hurtful response." It was incredibly healing, and I'm so glad I leaned into the discomfort and took the initiative. I did it over the phone also, so tone and intent were more easily understood, which text and email usually can't convey. Phone is more vulnerable. Still, I knew this was what was needed. We can do it, y'all. We can model this for our children. Our teens especially are watching how we emerge from quarantine and handle social situations. Our teens will have the confidence to be social, apologize, invite repeatedly, all of it, when they see us modeling this confidence. It's really worth it, not just for them. It's worth it for the connections, friendships, and relationships that we can spark and nurture. That's it for this week. If you would like personalized weekly private one-on-one coaching to show up with rock-solid confidence, sign up for a consult call at HeidiBenjaminson.com. A confident mother is the greatest gift to her family, not a perfect mother. Our families want us to feel confident, anchored, and calm. I can help you uncover this version of yourself. Have a great week.